Hey, what's up you all? It is AngelicaNicolexo. Welcome to my channel, and in today's video we will be discussing mini haul / how to separate from reality. So right now I'm going to get into my mini haul, and I'm just going to show you all just a couple of things that I got from Five Below, and I also went to Goodwill and I just got a few things from there. Okay, so let's get started. First, let's start off with this beautiful notepad and clipboard, or should I say paperback notepad or something like that. And this is it here. It isn't all together. It is really pretty. It's like a dark brown, and the interior has like a ruby dark red, and right there, and that's the back. And this and this came together, and the price was $3.09, so that's great. And then I looked at the details here on the picture in the background, and it looks like it's more of a it looked like it was Japanese theme, but then I've seen some people fishing. I don't know if you can see the details in the picture. I wish it can show you that, but it's very beautiful, and I could rarely tell. There's someone fishing, there's a bridge, there's a few trees, there's some ducks, and of course a mother with her children, and looks like an old Victorian house in the background. I don't know. Anyway, so that cost $3.09. I got that. I'm gonna put this here because I am using that. Okay, what else did I get from Goodwill? I got this Clinique. My favorite color is purple, so I got this Clinique bag. I needed me a new makeup bag. Didn't feel like buying a new one. So I was like, let me go to Goodwill. And this cost $1.99. And it still has like the little clear thing on there, and that's Clinique. So I got that makeup bag. I also got this book. Now, at first I didn't know if this book was for an adult. You know, even though we all know that most adults write children books, but I didn't think that this book was meant for an adult. But again, this was $2.09, and it's called Princess. And it says "You Know Who You Are" by Francesca Casta. Oh my God, I cannot say her name. Anyways, let's just, you'll see it there. I don't know if it's going to pick up on it or if I go like that. Not for sure. But anyways, it looks like this. And it's called Princess. And so I've always considered myself, my inner self, a princess. The outside, I know who I am. But I've always considered, because of course even adult would like to be a princess someday. So I got this book, and then it talks about, let me see, a mother. Somebody wrote here, "I love you, princess," and it said mom, so I can tell it was written by someone's mother that was presenting it, or maybe giving it to their daughter. And so if you see, this book is very interesting. I was sitting down in Goodwill like it was Barnes and Noble, sitting down and just reading, and no one said anything. So it says "How to Stop Worrying and Love Your Inner Princess," and it has like a part 1 here. Sorry you all, it's time for me to upgrade my phone. That's probably why it's not picking up. It says "Princess, You Know Who You Are, or Do You? The Making of a Princess, Part 2, Your Coronation, Princess Shopping, Princess Pampering, The Princess Pooch." It says "Princess Professionalism, Princess Entertains, Prince Charming, The Princess Bride, and Are You There, Barney's." And we all know that's that, high, that was at like that high style type clothing store that used to be out back in the day. And I don't think they no longer sale from that department store or whatever. But anyways, it says, "It's me, Princess," and it says a list of important names and numbers, acknowledgement. So when I started looking at them, I'm like, oh, okay, it is for an adult, because just the way how it's styled, I was like, I knew it was for an adult. And I decided to get this book, and yeah, so this is a neat book. This is how the back looks. Yeah, it's really, really cute. I love the little dog. I'm like, yes, it's so cute. So I got that from Goodwill. Now we're moving on to Five Below. I got this from Five Below, and it's called Peach Fizz, LA Colors. I love peach. That's another one of, not my favorite color, but it's one of the colors that I love. And this right here are the shades. And I love, like as you can see from my eyes above, I love a dark sunset orange. I love like a dark maroon red. Like to be on the, like just here. Because it just makes it glow. It makes you glow a bit more when you add a deep sunset orange. Or maybe even a... I'm not going to say a ruby red, because I think that's a little bit too dark. Maybe, well, I don't know, or a maroon red. But they have so many different shades of reds, oranges, whites. I mean, it's just, I thought black was just one color. But come to find out, they have multiple blacks. And I did not know that. So, anyways, I love this. Like, I'm going to have to do a before and after on how I will be wearing some of these colors. So anyways, I got that from Five Below, but this was not $5. I believe this was $3. I got another one. This one right here. And this one's called Vivid Press Pigments and Wild Romance and Beauty Treats. This one actually, I believe, costs $5. And this is how the colors look. Very, very pretty. It's so gorge. So I love this pink. As you can see right here, this pink right here is something I would wear like right here. I would probably add a little black there. And maybe, I would probably want to add like a liquid pink. Maybe have a liquid pink on top of the black with a shimmer pink. I mean, that means my eyes are going to pop. Really pop. But I like to wear, like at night, I like to wear a lot of glitter on my eyes, depending on if I'm going to a party, a cocktail party, something like that, and I know that it's night. Well, your eyes will pop a bit more if you have glitter, of course, especially with these colors. But so anyways, I got that. And what else did I get? So of course, I love to draw. Been drawing since I was, I feel like I'm a natural artist. But I've been drawing and doing a lot of coloring back and forth. I have an adult coloring book, so I do that a lot. And these are the colors that I got. And this one costs $5. They have a lot of neat looking art supplies at the Five Below store. So yeah. And these are the rest of the colors in the back. So yeah. Okay, so and that is my mini haul. That's all I got. So I had a grand time today, just going shopping at Five Below and Goodwill, and just doing my daily duties. This pen, I love mermaids, of course. So this pen came from Party City, and I got a whole bunch of them for like maybe $3 to $5. I don't remember it because it's kind of a while back, just in case anyone wants to know. So moving forward, we will get to the real discussion. Okay, let me drink some of my tea. Okay, so how to separate from reality? Well, I have separated from reality. It's actually hard, for me to actually put those words together because it sounds so deranged when you think about it, but really it's not, especially when you went through a lot. I've went through a lot of things in my personal life, And so, and I'm going to describe one situation, and this is where it started. This one specific situation started the whole separating from reality, using specific situations to separate from reality, not just in general. You know, in general, I mean, come on now. You can't separate from reality totally, because then, you know, I don't know. Now you're just existing, kind of, sort of, but not being in touch with who you are. I mean, I feel like that's too far out there then. But anyways, let me give you all this event. This event took place back in 2014, I believe, or maybe even 2013. I don't remember. Somewhere around that line. It was an incident with an apartment complex. It was my very first apartment. And I lived downstairs. I hate living downstairs, but then again, I didn't want to live upstairs because I was afraid that, well, maybe I would probably make too much noise, maybe have visitors coming over, and I didn't want any type of complaints or anything like that. So that's why I never had an upstairs, because, and then not only that, you got furniture, you got to carry back and forth. So yeah. So anyways, these new tenants, they were Caucasian. They moved in above me. Of course, I didn't say anything the very few first days that they moved in, because, you know, you have to give them time to process everything. They're moving back and forth. They're moving all their belongings inside of their unit. And so I was not going to complain, knowing that that was their first time moving in. But as the weeks go by, I noticed that the noise started getting worse. So now I was thinking to myself, okay, so you're not being considerate that I live under you. You're not being considerate that I can't sleep at night because you're up all the way till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I even had one of my best friends knock on their door to let them know what was going on, because the managers at the office, they were not listening to me. And then I also noticed a little bit of prejudice and racism going on there. And you know how sometimes when it comes to specific races, they try to put you in a box, put you into a category. Even sometimes, even when you live in the most high-rise type apartment complex, like a loft or something like that, sometimes they still would treat you that way. It doesn't even matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter if you're spending about $2,000 or $2,000 a month. Sometimes they still would treat you that way. So I believe it's all about the people. I thought it was all about the location, but to me now it's all about the people too, because I believe the people is what makes the location either bad or good, or hood or not hood, like things of that nature. Maybe yeah. So anyways, that's my belief. So anyways, as the time progressed, I would knock on their door, let them know, hey, I live below you, and I was just wondering if, after a certain time, can you keep quiet, because I'm just trying to sleep, and I have to wake up, and I have to go to work. At that time, that's when I did have a job. I had to go to work and things of that nature. And they was like, oh, yes, yes. And then I didn't like the fact that when I would knock on the door, instead of this man coming from out of, his unit, he would speak to me behind the window thing, the window screen. Like, pull the window back, and there's a screen in front of it, and he would speak to me behind there instead of speaking to me. Was it a screen? No, it wasn't a screen. I don't know what it was. It wasn't a screen on their door. It was something else on the door. On the window. I don't know what it was. But anyways, whatever. Y'all just forget that part. It wasn't a screen. It was something else. But he pulled it back, or he did something, and I could not see. I didn't understand why he was speaking to me in that manner, because we're both humans and stuff like that. You could have came outside. You could have did whatever you had to do. But anyways, they let the wrong ones in that day. So as time progressed, I started becoming like a bit angry. And so I started to tell the management about the tenant, Because like I didn't want to resort to something like that. But when you are banging, when you are stomping, when you are purposely doing things, knowing that I live underneath you, knowing that I'm not doing anything to cause commotion in your life, but you're doing it to me purposely, you target me and you wanted to cause things. So I was like, okay, you wanted to cause some uproar or something like that. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm going to go to the management office, and I am going to warn them and tell them that if they don't do anything about it, that I'm going to just take justice into my own hand. And when I say take justice, I mean you have so many phone numbers you can call, because like I said again, racism kind of played a part in this. So it was easy for me to file and do some things, because I was happy that happened. That way it made my case better, and it was just easy. So anyways, I complained to them. I told them that the tenants was making noise and this and that and this and that. And it was like, it was time for me. Like, I dealt with it for so many months. They never did anything about it. I warned them about it. They still never did anything about it. They didn't even tell the tenant that they was making too much noise. Like, they didn't do anything. They didn't make any steps. So I had to look outside of them. I was like, okay, I'm not going to continue to have these discussions with you if you're not going to listen to me, if you're not going to take me serious. I started to feel sick because of all the noise that they were making. Because if a person is making that much noise, you can't sleep. Now you're losing sleep. Now when you're at work, you can't concentrate. Now you're losing focus. Now it just starts to dwindle away after that. You start to become sick because you're not getting enough sleep. Now you're kind of in and out of reality for sure, because you're not getting enough sleep. You're getting 2-3 hours of sleep. I mean, eventually something's about to happen, man. So anyways, when I started, complaining about them, I noticed that they started to take things into their own hands, and they started to mess with me personally because I was telling on them. And so, they started to mess with my vehicle. They started to mess with certain types of. They started to mess with my mailbox, and my mailbox was in the indoor. Like, everything was indoor. The packages that you received was indoor. It wasn't on the outside of the apartment complex. Like I said, these apartments was pretty nice, but everything was indoor. And they started to mess with my mailbox, got caught on camera, dummies, started to mess with other things as far as my vehicle and stuff like that. I already knew it was them because I didn't have no issue with anybody else except them. They ended up messing up something, and then they had to end up paying for it because they thought it was mine, but come to find out they messed up their own stuff. Dummies. That part was the funniest part. And then they was caught on camera doing it. Like idiots. Caught on camera for doing stuff to the mailbox. Caught on camera from doing other things. And then you try to do something to my vehicle, which I knew it was yours. But they end up I end up winning. I never retaliated against them because I knew that everything that I would do to them would be caught on camera. That's the only reason why. I'm just being honest. I didn't do nothing because, I wasn't going to be the one to do something. Let's just put it like that. But moving forward, so I was overwhelmed. I ended up moving out, but I noticed that the management, she was being racist, was telling me, and she acted as if I was just like a typical person that would like vandalize the inside of the apartment complex, and I would just leave, because that's what she was telling me. She was telling me, well, why won't you just leave? I said, well, why would I break my lease and leave knowing that that's going to be on my record, and then I'm going to owe you all just 1 month? I only have 1 month left to be at that apartment. I stayed there that long to try to finish out the term of the lease agreement, but I couldn't take it anymore, so I ended up leaving. But I didn't turn in my keys because I wanted to file a suit or something against them because they didn't let me out my lease. And then not only that, they were prejudiced. And not only that, they tried to tell me, and I recorded everything. They were so stupid. I recorded everything that they were saying. I had witnesses and stuff like that. And so I got someone that worked in that field as far as with prejudice, like you being targeted and prejudice. And then the people above me, they were white too, and then the people at the management, they were white too. And I carried myself in a very professional, classy way, so I was not going to ruin my reputation or ruin my credit by trying to leave And well, I left, but at the same time, I didn't want to turn in my keys, and I did not pay rent there either. Like the whole entire month, what I did, like I said, they ruined a lot of my things, but I didn't retaliate against them or nothing. But what I did was I sued the whole entire, I sued the whole entire apartment complex, and I won. And this is where the separating from reality gets to, because like I said, when sometimes things can be so overwhelming that you end up checking out, and you didn't even know that you checked out. I mean, like mentally, you are gone. I was gone. I didn't even know I left until somebody brought me back. I'm just being real, like for real, for real. I was gone. I checked out. I was heartbroken. I was crying. I was like, why would they do something like this to me? I didn't do anything to them. You know, I said, I don't want to get physical with them, because if I do, then it's really going to get worse. And I get so many people involved that would really mess them up. But I didn't want to, you know, like I didn't want to go that far. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be like them. I'm not like that. I'm a different person now. I'm not like that. So I checked out. I checked out. Like I called people. I called this place that dealt with prejudice and racism, and I sued the apartment complex, and I did my work. I paid for sites to look up who owned the apartment complex, and then I wanted to take them to court to sue them because they did not want to get me out of my lease, and not only that, because of racism and because I was being targeted and the management was not listening to me. And then she tried to go around telling the apartment tenants not to speak to me. I mean, it's almost as if she turned against me too, just because I wanted to get out of my lease, and just because I went to her. I mean, I'm confiding in you about tenants, and yet you are going against me, trying to tell other tenants not to speak to me, so I won't have any witnesses. But see, little does she know, racism played a big part in this, and I had proof that you was being racist, because you was saying, well, just do, and then she told me, just do what you all would normally do, just move out. So when she said, when you all, that made me say, oh, okay, you're talking about African American people, so you're trying to do that stereotype crap. So okay, all right. So I was like, okay, I'm going to sue this apartment. And I even told her in her face, I said, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue this apartment complex, and I'm going to win. And you're going to lose your job. And that's exactly what happened. See, at that time, I was manifesting and didn't even know. And so it happened in that way. Again, I did not know that I won the case, because I had detached from it. I even forgot that I even filed against them. I forgot that those people actually kind of like did something to me. I checked out. Like, you know, when you kind of like emotionally withdraw. I mean, I went from withdrawing to detaching to checking out to becoming numb. I mean, everything just happened within that frame, that time frame. And yeah, I ended up winning the case. She lost her job. They ended up suing her because they was asking me, how did I find out who they were? Because I found there was some Africans that owned the apartment building. And so I got in touch with them to a point that I ended up tracking them down where they was, and I ended up finding them at the apartment complex, and I confronted them, and I told them about their manager. Oh yeah, I did all that. It's easy for me to find out who owns apartment complex, and it's easy for me to find out who's the owner, whether it's a man or a woman, because just because you're in some type of, it can be a development and stuff like that, but then in the end, it's a person. That development, it's a person that's running that whole entire apartment complex. I can find that out too. And so, but yeah, I confronted the guy and everything, and he was asking me, well, how do you know who I am? I said, easy. I researched you. Well, how did you do that? I said, well, you don't need to know all that. What you need to know is you need to do something about your management, because she's very unprofessional and she's racist, and she needs to be fired, because now I'm taking you to court because I'm suing you, and I'm suing this apartment complex because they are targeting me, and she is too, because she's trying to turn the tenants against me, trying to tell them not to be a witness towards me receiving racism type treatment and stuff like that. So anyways, he ended up withdrawing things or whatever. It ended up being to where they granted me, before it even went to court, it went in my favor. and he granted me out of my and I had somebody else working on my case too, but he granted me as far as a release from out of my, because I had so much evidence. I had pictures, I had paperwork, I had phone recordings. I even was recording that lady while she was talking to me any type of way. I was recording her too, and she went out and she didn't even know. She stating her name and all that, dummy. I recorded the whole entire situation. So I ended up winning. They released me out of that and whatever, and I didn't have to pay that month while I was there. So that's that. But again, how I see, now I'm kind of all over the place. I'm trying to see, I'm separating now. How to separate from reality. That's how I separated from reality. I checked out. I got so emotional that I had to train my own thoughts. And I'm like, you know what? I was telling myself in the car, because I was crying so bad, because I was like, why am I being treated this way? You know, this is before spirituality actually existed in my life. Like I said, this is a long time ago. But I was crying so bad, and I was like, why is this happening to me? Why is this? And something had told me that you have to mentally check out. Because the more that you dwell on the situation, the worse of that it would get. Now, at this time, I didn't even know about what's his name? Dr. Wayne Dyer's. When he wrote the 10 Commandments of Inner Peace, and he talks about detachment in there. I didn't know about that book at this time. But at that time, in 2013-14, is when I learned how to detach and how to separate. And I told myself, Angelica, you have to be able to mentally check out of that reality. Pretend like the situation never happened. Pretend like you're not even going through it. Don't think about it anymore. Let it go. Let it go. So I end up going back in time, mentally, going back to all the issues that I had went through. And I end up erasing it. How? I end up going back to the days that how can I say it? I end up going back to the days that those events took place. And I end up, it's like I'm rewinding my past. I end up going back to the days that those events took place. And I put in place of those events something different, like a different situation. Okay, I kept going back. I kept going back. Every day I would keep going back to those events. But instead of me being reminded of those painful events, I would replace it with something positive. Like one day I said, okay, I went over here, I visited my mom, we had a grand time, we went out to eat, we had a dinner at some nice fancy restaurant. The next day I decided to check into the hotel because I wanted to go swimming. I went to the spa, this and that. Like I went back into those months and I did it so much to the point that everything became blank. Like I was really working my mind mentally to the point that everything became blank. Like I couldn't even remember what happened on those days that it happened. To the point that I didn't even remember that I got another lady that worked at some place that had something to do with, someone trying to evict you or you being wrongly accused or whatever you want to call it. I forgot the name of the place. But I went all the way back to the point that everything was blank. Everything just kind of I was kind of out of it. To the point I didn't remember her. I didn't even remember the event taking place. I didn't remember that I called upon her and I told her about the situation, and she had to come over to the house and she had to gather up all my evidence that I had, my recordings, my documents. Like, I didn't remember none of that stuff that took place until one day she called me and she told me, Angelica, guess what? You won. You won the case. And I said, won what? I said, well, who is this again? I swear you all, that's how exactly it happened. I said, won what? I said, who is this again? She said, such and such. See, I don't even remember her name. She said, such and such. You won against the apartment. They decided not to go to court. They decided to release you from your lease and you don't have to pay them anything. And I was like, oh, she said, you don't remember? And I was like, no. I said I let it go to the point that I didn't even remember that it actually happened. I mean, I separated myself from reality, and so intensely that I'm forgetting the people, the places, the things that took place during those times. And you all, that's how you detach from reality. You have to go, and when I say reality, I'm speaking about different types of situations that has taken place to where you want to, revise the past and try to place other events in place of that, if that makes any sense. That's exactly what I did. And I did it so much it didn't happen. And then from that point on, now I do that a lot. And now it's almost like, now what I wrote down here, it's almost like when a situation happens, I detach immediately without going through emotions. Now, sometimes I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I feel like if it's a situation that's not in alignment with who you are, if it's a situation to where you did not receive any justice for, then I feel like it's probably best to detach from that situation, because that situation is no longer serving you. That situation is burdening you. That situation is making you very sad. And if you put a lot of emotions into the situation, you help it grow. So it probably won't go into your favor if you're putting a lot of emotions into it. So I learned how to separate back in 2013 and 14. I didn't even know I was separating. I just know I was doing things, and I didn't even know nothing about revising. I just know I was just doing things to get rid of those images, to get rid of the pain, because all of it was just a memory. So I had to go back in time, go back into my memory and delete what occurred, to the point that the lady that helped me, she helped me remember what I did. Because other than that, I didn't know. Like, I was just living my life large, and I was just working, doing my everyday things, but I didn't know that had occurred after I went back and revised the past. I revised it, and it took a person to call me to help me remember what actually took place. That's why I'm telling you all today. If she would have never called me, I wouldn't even be having this conversation, because to be honest, literally, I actually forgot. I mean, I really checked out. And now and today, how I am with situations and the way that I like respond to it or even approach it, I detach immediately. I say, nope, this is not my situation. This is not me. It's not a part of me. It's not a part of my journey. It's not a part of my life. It's a situation on its own that had occurred without me. I don't have nothing to do with that. It's not me, And I've been doing that ever since. And like I said, if it's any type of bad situation that, you're going through, just do what I did. Like, literally, just do what I did and detach immediately. And I swear, if you keep this up year after year after year, you won't have any emotions towards people trying to do you wrong. And they say, you detach immediately. Don't take it personal. Just be like, you know what? It's sad. Their day sucked. But mine is going to continue to flourish, because I don't got nothing to do with how they're trying to speak to me, because obviously someone ruined their day and they're trying to project that energy towards me, and it's not happening over here. It just ain't happening. I'm not going to allow you to ruin my day because somebody made your day, it sucked, and it don't got nothing to do with me. Okay? And so that's how I look at it. Like, I try not to take, a lot of things personal. I try not to even take my own life personal, even though it's a lot of serious things happening in my life, especially in the business world. But at the same time, I try not to take a lot of things personal. I try to laugh at myself. I try not to take myself serious. I try to just have fun. That's why we got the little mermaid right here. She's always floating around in my life, because that's how I see myself. I see myself as a beautiful, high being, person that's full of life and that's full of joy. And I'm not going to let no idiot, no dummy, no low vibrational person come into my life to try to ruin me. The first thing I'm going to do is detach my energy real quick. I'm not going to even allow my vibrations to go lower to even match yours. Like, we not doing it. We not doing it. Like, no. But anyways, y'all, that's how I detach from reality. I do it a lot. I detach from my own reality when it comes to specific situations, not everything. I mean, because why would you do that? But I do it a lot, and I train myself to do it. And sometimes I don't even know how to go back to try to feel emotions for certain situations, because I mean, and then wow, I just heard I just got a download, and something has told me that you're cold. I probably am cold when it comes to a lot of things, but I'm cold to protect this barrier that I have over me. I'm cold, and there's a shield because I am protecting myself from getting emotionally involved with something that is not for my purpose. It's not for my higher, it's just not for my life. And so if I'm cold, so be it. I'm cold. I'm protecting myself. I am enjoying life to the fullest, and I'm separating from reality, or a reality that I consider low vibrational, that type of reality. And I feel like the longer you keep doing that, the more that situations probably won't even present itself, because they already know what you're going to do when it occurs. You're going to detach immediately. So why would the situation keep coming towards you if the universe knows you're just going to detach anyways? So you can actually stop situations from occurring in your life if you just learn how to detach immediately. Don't take it personal. Don't like when a situation sometimes happens to me out in the blue. It just happens like out of the blue. I don't take that situation home. I don't start talking about it like if it happened on Wednesday at Taco Bell, I keep it in Wednesday at Taco Bell. I don't be sitting up here bringing it into Thursday at the mall. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bring that situation over the telephone to, to a friend or to a loved one or whatever. I'm not going to talk about what had happened on Wednesday, because I don't care, because whatever had happened, let it stay in that day. So that's another way how I detach too. I keep it where it happened at. Like, wherever it happened, I keep it there, And so anyways, this pretty much concludes the video, y'all. Like, this is like a random pop-up video. I didn't even have all my notes and stuff, but I got to thinking today. I was like, somebody needs to know how to separate themselves from reality, because this will save you a lot of time and a lot of energy to not put your emotions into every single thing that happens to you. When you learn how to control your emotions, that's when you rule the world, and it is what it is. That's when you are, not being like, what is it called? Ruined in some type of way, or someone is talking to you any type of way and you want to lash back and let them keep talking. Just let it happen. Let them keep talking, because you win when you're silent. You don't win if you keep going back and forth and debating with some no good person. No, that's very low vibration to be debating with a dummy. Like, I'm not doing that. So anyways, this pretty much concludes the video, and until next time, peace, love, and success. Let's go.